Hi and welcome. My name is Rob Scott from UC Today, bringing you the latest news and conversation from the unified communications, collaboration and CX technology industries. Today I'm joined by Mitel, and we're going to be talking about cloud migrations and some of the challenges that exist out there in today's world. So welcome everybody.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone. So how about we start with a quick round of introductions before we get stuck into this topic. Rami, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure, Rob. Hi, everyone. My name is Rami Houbby. I'm responsible for cloud business in international region at Mitel. So Mitel is an organization, global organization. Our mission statement is to provide seamless collaboration and communication to enterprises of all sizes.
Thanks, Rami, and welcome. Shameem.
My name is Shameem Smillie. I'm Mitel's contact center sales manager.
Thanks
and welcome. And finally, Nick.
Yeah, good morning, Rob. My name is Nick Riggott. I'm Mitel's head of sales in the UK. So luckily enough, I get to work with both partners and end customers alike. So yeah, good to speak to you.
Great. Well, good to have you on this morning. And thanks for joining me. We've got an interesting topic today because we're going to try to cover really the full spectrum of business communications and some of those challenges that exist right now in the year 2020, which has been a very different year for all of us. But first of all, I'd like to kind of start with Rami, if possible, just to kind of give us a state of play on kind of that move from on-premise PBX to the cloud. A lot of organizations, probably about 80%, I think, in the UK certainly, were or had on-premise kind of solutions. So kind of how's that gone from your perspective so far this year?
I mean, for us, really, this is business as usual. So we help businesses, thousands of businesses who've got on-premise technology to move to the cloud. And this goes at their own pace. And what we have obviously seen from the onset of the pandemic is an accelerated intention to migrate. But there are a lot of customers that have made investments in on-premise technology that would wish to enable remote working, for example, and empower business continuity, which Mitel has been front and center in helping those customers. Now, what is key in this is embracing communication applications and tools that are not just relevant for the on-prem technology, but can actually go and be consumed once the customer has actually migrated to the cloud. So basically, it's having those applications be delivered, communication applications be delivered from the cloud, but also be capable of serving multiple different types of deployments or supporting different types of deployments, whether it's on-prem, cloud, or even hybrid deployments. And maybe my friend Nick can perhaps expand on this and share his experience with some examples from the UK market.
Thanks.
Yeah, completely. I mean, so I think looking at that, Rami, I think one of the biggest challenges I guess we faced right at the very start is the conception around what we've been doing for in terms of remote working. We've been providing this technology for years. We've got millions of users across the UK business community, from small, medium to enterprise customers who've been actually deploying remote working capability, albeit using it from an on-prem or within their own office environment. So it's actually more around the mindset change around the fact that this technology, with some of the support from our incredible partner community, that sort of just got straight involved with some of these immediate, real alert situations, trying to enable organizations to redeploy their workforce into their home environment. So, front and center are some real great examples. The Anna Freud Center, it's a world-renowned families and children mental health charity. These guys had actually deployed a Mitel UC solution, albeit a few years ago, and were quite well versed in terms of remote working and some of the hybrid capabilities that the technology was able to deliver. But immediately, one of our partners that look after Anna Freud, Opus, were able to support them in terms of going from a London-based office to immediately the sort of dispersed home locations to support their continued capability for their users. And obviously from a from the purpose of it being that sort of charity dealing with those sort of issues and those sort of concerns, it was of paramount importance that we're able to be in place as quickly as possible. Another great example, we work with some incredible customers, and Olive, one of our platinum partners, look after the British Red Cross. So imagine the immediate sort of pace of change that was required to enable the British Red Cross to not only sort of repivot and to enable home working across their organisation, but to deploy a contact centre to set up to support the COVID situation at the very outset within 6 days. So, going from having nothing to a fully functioning omni-channel contact centre within 6 days, that's down to the testimony and the capability of the partner Olive, but also the technology that was in place. It just needed to make sure that we could design it appropriately to support British Red Cross moving forwards.
Yeah, it's interesting because Mitel systems and platforms have always had these capabilities inbuilt for a long, long time, right? We were talking years and years. We've been doing VoIP and remote working kind of technology. So I imagine a lot of organizations just, may not have used that kind of capability before, but just, started to need to switch that on during the kind of pandemic period. Is that fair to say, Nick?
Well, I would agree. The majority of the conversations I've been having for all of this year really has been about how to enable and consume technology that for a Mitel customer, for the large part, they've already got. I was speaking to a customer just last week, and they've got 1,700 agents, and we were just going through doing a bit of a synopsis about the journey from January till up to September, and they migrated 17 agents. They migrated or shifted 1,700 agents from office locations to remote working. But in doing that, they had to really think very differently about their processes and about how they connect everybody. And the constant conversations that we're all having with customers. And when I think about contact center and customer experience, the three things that we see customers and businesses coming to us for are, enhancing customer experience, infrastructure, modernization, and access to next generation apps. And all of that can be done with Mitel, whether you're on-site, you're hybrid, public cloud or private cloud. But I think the important thing is about recognizing that business continuity needs to happen regardless of a pandemic. We need flexibility and agility. And I think the tech, as a consequence, has become our friend because of all those reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that right foundation in from the start is a really key point, isn't it? Certainly for business continuity. Nick, interested to hear about kind of how attitudes might have changed towards things like remote working. Back in the day, if we could say that now, a lot of organisations just kind of didn't want to or didn't believe in remote working and didn't believe that people could be productive at home. What's the perception now?
Well, I think the biggest sort of way to be able to judge as to whether that's been successful or not is whether my family think I'm actually working now. Because typically you get the whole working at home type question. You must be saying, I've been working from home for 20 years. Okay, it's an absolute must from a sales perspective. Working with partners and customers alike, it's the way that I've always had to work. Okay, so but I think it's always been that sort of that I wouldn't say doubt, but certainly some people would judge that to be a rather pleasant way to work, right? Not having to go into the office, not having to clock in, etc., and that's a phenomenal capability. But I think now it's a case of people really understand this is the actual reality. I've been fortunate, as my colleagues Shameem and Rami can testify, that this is just continuation for us. This is pretty much, we were just talking before the session started about feeling. I'm actually missing standing on a train platform in the rain, wanting to get into London now or getting to see a customer or a partner. But this is where we are. Okay, and I think the biggest barrier I think to adoption in terms of working from home is the misconception that you actually weren't. But everyone now, you understand that these the capabilities fundamentally. This is just a way of life now. It's absolutely what we do. So. And I think the pandemic's just accelerated the need for the tools to be deployed. And I think it's not just a case of the collaboration tools that we now need. It's the consistency and continuity and reliability of that tool set to ensure that ensure that the collaboration is beneficial and efficient across the organisation. So, organisations have now had no choice but to enable their employees to be able to work from home, to contact their customers, to support their internal customers alike as well. So, and I think now employees have certainly embraced it from what I can tell. I think if my mother-in-law thinks that I'm actually working at home now, then I think I've pretty much cracked it. I must be doing something. So, look, and that's it for me. I think, from a user perspective, I'm a user, and the tooling has always benefited the capability to perform and to collaborate with my colleagues. But I think now everyone's embraced this capability. It's now about how we look at it from a medium to long term to ensure that what's in place is sustainable and can support for all organisations' collaboration requirements in a secure way.
I think there's some benefits as well, though, isn't it? I'm trying to pull some positives from this, from a people perspective. And I think a lot of us have been able to sort of recalibrate our lives and really try to work out and underline what's important to us. And that there are benefits from not having to travel so much, being able to sort of get some semblance of work-life balance. And I think when I talk to, Nick, Rami, and the rest of our colleagues at Mitel, I think we pivoted hard to remote working, and we were just running really, really fast. But I think we've, because it's been going on so long, we've been able to sort of learn, educate ourselves, and try to pull the best pieces and try to get some separation between work and outside of work. So there are some real benefits, but we've got to keep doing these check-ins with ourselves to make sure that we don't sort of over-rotate on working on even not working. What do you think, Rami?
Yeah, I think, Nick just gave me a thought of going to a train station and standing on a platform, just remembering the good old days. But I think Nick talked about the changes in work practices, but also I think there is a change towards anywhere working. So, that concept in the entire workplace, but also looking at collaboration as a set of tools that need to be integrated with other business tools. And collaboration should not be seen as purely an over-the-top video conferencing application. Collaboration is more inclusive of chat functionality, digital workspace, where people can meet, share ideas, innovate, create new ideas. And the holy grail around the sort of next generation productivity enabler is how do you bring this to the real business tools? And I think if you look at Mitel channel partners, they are the subject matter experts in terms of bringing those the innovation in the collaboration tool set and making them consume in a consumable way that integrate seamlessly with business applications.
Rami, I've got another question to ask you there around kind of, and it might be one for Nick to chime in, and possibly Shameem, but around the kind of trends in sales across the pandemic period. Has there been anything that kind of jumps out to you that says, you know what, that is very indicative of where we are in today's world and those new attitudes or the change of attitude towards technology?
Certainly. As Nick said it right. We've been working from home ourselves in the sales organization for a couple of decades already. It's been the sort of standard for us. What I have seen myself is that customers' acceptance of holding webinars, meetings remotely, and customers being open to doing this more than ever. Pre-pandemic, it was a standard practice or an expectation that customers would want you to come to their site, do the full demo, or even come to yours. There is now the acceptance that all of this could be done remotely, and I see this pretty much on a global basis as my role is. So maybe Nick or Shameem can put the more sort of day-to-day perspective from engagement with UK customers.
Yeah, for me, it's lockdown has forced many of us to pivot and use technology that perhaps we wouldn't have considered before. Even when I think about my mother, she's 81, and pre-pandemic, I had to rely on phoning her and texting, but because we couldn't see each other, she wanted me to teach her how to use WhatsApp so we can do video sessions. And I think this has opened up a whole new area for a bigger demographic. And as a result, people have realized that the tech isn't as difficult and as out there as they once thought. So it's made everything a lot easier, opened our minds, and the tools that we're using every day outside of business are now being consumed quicker by businesses because everybody wants it and everybody realizes the benefits. But equally, I think it's about having choice as well, because too much video, as we all know, can be worse. A lot of us are going back to just doing voice only, just so that we can do things like pace around the garden and just not be tied to these chairs all day and every day. So there's loads of nuances, I think, as a result, that we probably would never have seen had it not been for what we're going through right now.
Yeah, interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. And Shameem, I wanted to just focus in on the call center or the contact center for a moment, and just kind of talk a little bit around their particular challenges, because call centers or contact centers are traditionally quite complex. They live in often silos in organizations and do things in different ways and have lots of legacy kind of customizations and things like that. So I was keen to kind of hear what challenges they've been through this year, because is it just as easy as kind of moving everyone to a kind of remote working model, or what kinds of challenges have you seen from your perspective?
Well, I think as Nick said earlier, because within our sort of let's call it application layers, and I don't want to get technical on this call, but we have bundled in options to have soft phones, remote working for forever. And a lot of businesses were pleasantly surprised to realize that they didn't have to, write us a check to consume this new technology. But it did open up a whole new area of having to look at streamlining, and it's the whole people to people thing internally. So I talk a lot with customers about contact centers being siloed. And whilst this is true, the siloed or the divisions between departments and operations, they're usually, I want to say, artificial or virtual, but they're not physical. And just because it's not integrated today doesn't mean that it can't be integrated to the wider business. And I think businesses now are just rethinking, about what's important, about what's critical, and about using the technology to bring things together. I said earlier, agents, supervisors, they can be, they've always been able to be geographically located anywhere. And I think the beauty of cloud means that you can, contact centers can sort of consume new services at a pace that's convenient to them, and also leverage their existing technology. We never advocate a rip and replace. We want our customers to recognize the value of what they've purchased from us for a long time. So the ROIs are huge. But I think more importantly, because everything's moving to digital, businesses really realize that they've got to start sort of adopting that and making it accessible to their customers, in order for all of us to be around, next year, all complaining about how crap 2020 was, really.
Indeed, lots of learning lessons from 2020. Rami, just to round this up, in terms of the road ahead, what's it look like for Mitel, its channel community and end customers?
Yeah, I mean, from Mitel's perspective, we're working very closely with our channel partners. They are the subject matter experts. They are the trusted advisors and consultants for our customers and their customers. So we're working on delivering innovative solutions, how we take them to the cloud, how we enhance their customer engagement and their own customers' engagement and experience. We know that customer engagement now is a number one key differentiator, overtaking price and product in a global economy where competition is fierce. Our mission as Mitel, alongside our channel partners, is to increase that customer engagement for our customers, is to keep them relevant to their own customers and make them even more competitive on a global scale.
Perfect. Thank you very much for talking to me today, everyone.
You're most welcome, Rob.
And you can find out more at mitel.com, certainly. But that's it from us. If you've enjoyed today's session, please do give us a quick like or a share on social media. It's always appreciated. But for now, thanks for watching.